wisdom teachers, gentle healers, and bold leaders of our global awakening. Welcome to the Joshua Jordan Experience. Listen to gather mystical insights for an extraordinary life. Hello, my beloved friends. Welcome once again to the Joshua Jordan Experience. I'm so glad you've joined us. Today I'm going to share another intention from our book, Graceful Intentions for Powerful Change. This is the intention to forgive. You know, Joshua has a lot to teach about forgiveness. And in the teaching of forgiveness, he wants to remind you that there is a teacher within. It's called my judgment. And what I judge to be true about my reality is based in my own definition of what is right and wrong for me. So it is perfectly normal to use your judgment to decide if something is right or wrong for yourself. If you have hurt feelings, you are judging that something that occurred caused you to feel hurt. You don't blame the other person for your feelings. And yet, sometimes people can act carelessly, and we can hold them accountable for their behavior and admit, yes, that hurt my feelings when you did that or when you said that. I felt hurt when this happened. However, oftentimes our forgiveness has to do with our feelings that we have let ourselves down, and we need to forgive ourselves. There are lots of times when I feel as if I didn't give it my best or I could have done better. And so I start to feel a little bit guilty about that, and my guilt triggers my need for self-forgiveness. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring you the intention to forgive as it appears in the book, Graceful Intentions for Powerful Change. In my youth, I learned that you have not forgiven until you have forgotten. Forgive and forget was taught to many of us like a mantra. Joshua teaches that forgiveness is not about forgetting an incident. Forgiveness is about love. Forgiveness is not about changing the past. Forgiveness changes our feelings now, and that changes what is possible going forward. Joshua also teaches that forgiveness is a feeling of letting go with love. And this process happens at its own pace. We can easily retain a lesson learned from an experience of hurt, while the pain of the hurt melts with love and with time. Joshua reminds us not to demand feelings of forgiveness to occur, or to pretend that forgiveness has happened when deep inside hurt feelings linger. Feelings are real, and it is useless to deny them. At the same time, Joshua strongly advocates complete forgiveness, and he models forgiveness constantly. He knows how feelings of guilt torture the mind and hamper our health. He teaches that we are the judge of our behavior, and we alone have the power to completely forgive our judgments of guilt. Experiencing events that call for forgiveness will occur on the journey of a lifetime. Relationships with parents, children, siblings, companions, teachers, business associates, and other relationships all require varying degrees of trust and commitment. In the course of a lifetime, incidents in these relationships will cause disappointment, frustration, and hurt feelings, provoking guilty judgments that require our forgiveness. If you seek the forgiveness of another, you feel guilty and you want absolution. Joshua teaches that it is much more critical to forgive yourself completely. The forgiveness of another will not entirely alleviate your guilty feelings, but it can be helpful as you work toward earning your own pardon. Consider the example of feeling betrayed in a relationship. When we experience betrayal, our urge to forgive and forget is deeply rooted in the desire to release mental and emotional anguish. Life experience has proven to us that forgiveness brings relief. However, if we try to mask our emotional hurt by forcing or faking forgiveness, suffering continues. Some take the path of fake it until you make it, and that may work. Yet this false process requires internal denial and self deception. Being true to our authentic feelings is a courageous and forthright path to real, enduring forgiveness. Looking deeply, we increase our awareness that our external reality is the mirror of our inner reality. I accept that if I am attracting models of betrayal or rejection, I want to awaken my awareness to how I lie to and reject myself. My internal practice of betrayal may occur on a less visible level. For example, many hold hidden beliefs that they are not worthy of love and or happiness. Plus, many people know the anguish of disappointing themselves or not being true to their own values. Accepting that what is happening in my personal relationships is a reflection of my inner reality is often a giant hurdle in awareness. Accepting this insight is sometimes an obstacle for individuals invested in a victim mentality. Whether we feel betrayed by another or if we feel guilty of betraying ourselves or another, we patiently and lovingly accept how we feel now. If an incident has occurred that resulted in hurt feelings, it is natural to feel sadness, anger, resentment, disappointment, guilt, and other emotions. Feel how you feel. None of our feelings are either good or bad unless we judge them to be so. Let emotions pass like waves upon the shore. There is no need to analyze, justify, deny, or become attached to feelings. Emotions are in motion. Feelings are transitory. Above all, remember that feelings of forgiveness grow in the light of love, and love is a feeling. Forgiveness is a feeling. Allow it to come when it comes. You will know when forgiveness arrives because when you remember the incident, and you will remember it, how you feel about it has changed. Forgiveness is only needed when I judge myself or another to be guilty of something. I judge myself and others to be guilty of failing to meet my expectations, often without awareness. I judge myself and others based on both realistic and irrational expectations. I judge myself and others to be guilty of failing to act in accordance with my book of law. When I feel guilty, or when I judge another person to be guilty, forgiving myself or another begins to allow love and compassion to flow. I feel love and forgiveness naturally. I do not force it or fake it. I feel it when I feel it. If I find myself getting stuck in feeling guilty, I say to myself, I forgive myself completely. I am worthy of love beyond all conditions. Intention to forgive. I can forgive and retain my memory of events. Forgetting an incident is not required for my forgiveness to be complete. In the course of my relationships, I accept the full range of my emotions and I feel how I feel. I let my emotions move in and out as easily as I breathe. When I judge myself to be wronged by another, I own how I feel and I don't fake forgiveness. This level of authenticity is beyond superficial spirituality. In my process of awakening, I observe my relationships as a reflection of my internal story. I pay attention to the treatment I receive from others, knowing it equals my obvious and hidden beliefs about myself. This understanding removes all expectations about how I am supposed to feel and how I must act as a spiritual person. I recognize that I am worthy of my own love and forgiveness beyond all conditions. As I forgive myself completely, my capacity to feel love grows. As love grows within, my capacity to forgive others deepens. That is the conclusion of The Intention to Forgive. This book was written with Joshua. So I'm not going to bring Joshua through to comment on this because all of the words I just shared with you are from Joshua. I hope you will hear and understand that the intention to forgive is worthy of our effort and that true forgiveness comes when we are being authentic. Thank you for listening. We hope you heard something to ponder and gained inspiration for your journey. Please join us again next time. Joshua says, let the light grow, let love show, and let your life be fun.